get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Start my day. Wake up, get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Drink some water, brush my teeth. Get out of bed and I stretch. Bed in my hair is a mess. Look through my clothes for a fit. Anything I do is drip. Feel like a kid when I'm tick-tocking. I still keep it real as it is. I show my age, I don't switch often. I'm just as a dad as it gets. Try taking naps with my kids talking. I'm guessing this life how it is. And I can't wait for the weekend. Keep jammies on like I'm a kid. Wake up, get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Feel good, feel great, can't complain. Look out my window, see birds and planes. Sun's out, some clouds, it might rain. Siblings on my nerves again. Summertime, go for a swim. Wintertime, go grab a sled. Spring, I might need an umbrella. Fall back in school with my friends. Attitude change like the weather. My mom tell me it never ends. Like clocks, we evolve in a circle. Every 12 months we do it again. Wake up, get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, get up, stretch my legs. Eat some breakfast, milk and eggs. Brush my teeth up, wash my face. Throw my clothes on, start my day.
Okay. So trying to get a little fancy there, brother. You know, my song played a little longer than I wanted it to play, and it didn't switch over. But that's all right. That's all right. Your boy, learning over here, trying to level up a little bit. Oh my God! And you over there on mute? What's
Beating it.
there? You go. I got
I'm
you.
on mute.
Yeah, I got you
Yeah, I'm
now.
about to say. Not this week, man. You ain't catch me this week.
So
How you doing, man? How you
I'm
doing?
trying to figure it out, brother. I'm doing all right. I was a little stressed, right? Again, I'm reaching out a little bit, trying to do some new things. As you see, we kind of leveling up the production a little bit. Got some opening music. Got a little different look as well. But I'm gonna get the hang of it. 2021 is gonna be a new year. Team No Sleep is in the building, and this is what we do, though. So I'm doing
Yes,
all right.
sir. Yes, sir.
All right. How about you, man? I'm not gonna be selfish. You doing okay there? Who you rocking and what hat you
Blessed.
working?
I'm rocking my hat. This is me. This is my All-Star, my high school All-Star game I have every year.
Oh,
Actually, we're not having it this year because of COVID, due to the COVID situation. But
COVID.
this is us every year, helping at least anywhere from 40 young men get out, get some college scholarships out here across the country. We had just recently had Cameron Klein, who played in my game, who's now with the Indianapolis Colts,
Okay.
celebrating that young man. So we're doing some big things out here in Southern California for my All-Star game. So
I
we're good.
love it. I love it. I love it, man. I actually I knew what the hat was. That was a little softball action that I threw at you because I wanted to hear you
Yeah,
give
got
a
me
little
a
bit of
home run
credit.
real quick. Yeah, yeah,
I wanted you
yeah.
to say who you were.
Oh yeah, man.
Some things have been happening over the week, right? Well, in the last couple of weeks since we last went live, right? We obviously didn't go live last Sunday, Valentine's Day,
Mhm.
and both married men. I didn't want you to get in trouble, and I sure enough didn't want to get in trouble by going live on here and not being attentive to our spouses. So
Yep.
that being said, we took a week off and major news from an NFL perspective isn't as much, but we gonna dive into that. And you know what? I'm not even
Mhm.
gonna delay. We've got a guest in that we have talked about a number of times and said he's got an interesting perspective. He's played sports at the high level as well. From on basketball, and he's definitely not shy and willing to speak his
Mhm.
mind, which is what I love about him. So let me bring on our guest for tonight and see if he is willing to just interject with us. I'm gonna throw him in under the fire, right, and see if he's willing to talk about everything that's on the agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, shouts
Yeah.
out to my boy Tall Boy.
Yes, sir. How
What's
you
going
doing,
on,
tall
brother?
boy?
What's up, brother?
I'm all right, Montel.
Yeah,
Finally, I
yeah.
get a chance to be on the show without being on the show typing the comments,
Yeah,
and then y'all get
yeah, yeah,
me
you're
all late.
always in the comments talking madness to us too,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you know me, I
talking
tell like,
crazy.
man, we need to get this food on the screen so we can have our little discussion.
Right,
Absolutely,
right.
man.
All right.
Bless. Let's shoot into it. Let's shoot into it. Like we was discussing, man. College basketball.
Okay,
It's
we
and
just
I
gonna go right there, right? We not we
let's
just
go. Let's yeah.
we go
We
not
gonna
even
throw
gonna
no
talk
March
about
ain't
softball.
even
anything
here.
else. We just go right there
March
to
ain't
talk.
even here
Go.
yet. He already talking about it.
I know. Go. All right. Go ahead, brother. Montel, go ahead. What you want
So
to talk
so
about?
well, let's go to the fastball, man. College basketball, the
Yeah.
changing of the guard. Like I've noticed over the last several years that the guard has changed from the Georgetowns, the North Carolinas, the Dukes, the Michigans, the Fab Fives, and the UNLVs to
Mm.
now we're going to the St. Mary's, the Butlers, and now Gonzaga has been the powerhouse now. Explain to me how that's happened, tall boy, like from your perspective.
Well, I've been out of the college game for a while now, but I mean, the
Hmm.
biggest thing that I can honestly say, and I think we were talking a little bit about this off camera.
Hmm.
What you have is you have these college teams that have recruited for the long haul, shall we say. So 4 years, I'm recruiting a James Hicks to come play for my university,
Mm.
as opposed for 4 years, as opposed to getting this 5-star recruit Montel Allen that comes and plays for Kentucky or for Duke, and they're a one and done, two
Mm.
years and done, and now that coach is constantly recruiting. Or
Hmm.
whereas the James Hicks that's playing over at a Gonzaga or a St. Mary's, a Pepperdine, I'm throwing out all those West Coast teams, the
Hmm.
Georgia State. You're
I see.
playing,
I
you're
see
throwing out.
what you're throwing out and putting down. I feel you. It's all right.
I know a little bit about the West Coast. I was out there for a brief moment, over at Cal State Fullerton. I'll give them a little shout out over there.
There you go. There
But
you go.
you have yeah, what it is the James Hicks that went to that mid-major small D1 school. They started buying into the system, and when they
Mm.
bought into the system, it's 4 years. They're not expecting to go to the NBA. They just wanted to get a college degree, get a chance to get some numbers up to where they can get an opportunity to play play college basketball, and eventually be able to play overseas.
Right.
Then you got
Mhm.
Montel Allen that's like, hey, I'm over here at the Dukes, the Kentuckys, the Villanovas. It's one
Yeah.
year trying to get to the league. Look at Ben Simmons.
Mhm.
He flat out told you, bringing me in from Australia.
Wow.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to class. I'm here and I'm out as soon as this is
Mhm.
up. So when you have that, you're constantly recruiting and you're trying to find chemistry. Whereas
Mm.
James at his school, his mid major, they've all bought into the system. So
Mm.
now you're starting to
Mm.
see that change of the guard. If that makes that's my
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, when you explain it to me, that hits kind of the nail on the head right there. I think you're right. Those mid majors are recruited for longevity, chemistry, and going on. Where the bigger schools were going after the 5-star, 4-star guys um, and they're done one or two, and then they're out. But what I'm seeing, because I'm trying to follow college, because obviously that's what we got to watch now.
Yeah.
I've been trying to follow it, and I'm like, wow, it's a drastic fall off though. It's not. This hasn't been gradual. I mean, I don't know the last time where we haven't had a Duke team that hasn't not ranked in the top 25, a Kentucky team not ranked in the top 25, a North Carolina team not ranked in the top 25. No Pac-12 teams are ranked in the top 25. I mean, it seems
Well,
like
you
the
also
power shift is happening. Huh? Go
but
ahead. I'm sorry.
you also got to think that this is a off year because of COVID. So
Hmm.
you got to think, these teams, and I don't know because I haven't really been watching too much college basketball, but I mean, when you think about it, their schedule is limited to where uh they can't play those games the way, those
Yeah.
mid majors are. They're in a tight bubble. And I'm not saying that Duke and Kentucky, Michigan State, and all those other teams aren't in a bubble either. But I mean, if somebody gets COVID, then the game is canceled. Now the game is
Hmm.
forfeited, and you can't do anything. That's something that happened with I want to say it was Georgia Tech. They couldn't they couldn't play. They were trying to get some non-conference games in, and because somebody got COVID on the other team, they're sitting here practicing, beating each other up, and they're ready
Hmm.
to release that
Mm.
frustration out on somebody, and they can't play, and now they don't rank or they don't qualify, if that makes any sense. Whereas you
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
probably got, and that's just an off year. So I mean, look at 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, wouldn't have had this problem, but because of COVID, when teams aren't ranking, you know, what do you do? I mean,
Yeah.
it
It
major,
did-
they got a
It's
tighter
that it's
butt. I
that
mean, they
next
got a
school
tighter.
up kind of thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah, right.
And,
Yeah,
and
and
then,
and
then
and it goes off of wins.
Yeah.
yeah. And then my next tall boy, does that affect? I mean, obviously, it's going to affect the tournament, right? It's going to affect the tournament because now
Yeah.
teams that we're familiar with aren't going to be there. Do you think that helps NCAA basketball? Or does it hurt it in the long run because the familiar teams aren't there, or the new teams that are coming up? They don't really have the fan base like the Dukes and the North Carolina and all that stuff.
Well,
How do you feel?
college basketball is always gonna be here, like,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter. I think the biggest issue is it helps those mid-majors and those smaller D1 schools. I think it helps them to be able to say, "Hey, we made it to the NCAA tournament, and you can be here too." That
Yeah.
was one of the
Mm.
things when I played college basketball, our coach said, "If we win this conference tournament, you'll be seen by billions of people as opposed
Hmm.
to the few thousands of people, if that makes
Yeah.
sense." So it
Yeah.
was all
Yep.
about, can we get to that conference tournament? And if we get to that conference tournament, then, and we win it and make it to the big dance, the university that I went to, we were going to be a 15 or a 16 seed, but the
Hmm.
fact that you get a chance to showcase what you can do, that's better than, it's almost like a high school game, You got kids that are trying to show out for the big game, for the big rivalry game, but ain't nobody coming to the regular game. If that makes any sense.
I hear you. I feel you.
I tell you what, man. Before we move further, I would love for you to kind of go into a little more context about your history, right, tall boy, in terms of, like you said, where you played, and just kind of set the stage from that end, if you don't mind.
I don't know how much of that I want to tell, but
Well, you
I,
give us the
why
the
why
one
am
that's
I
ready
not
for
on the
prime
screen?
time.
I see myself on screen, but I see myself off screen.
So
Hear me?
I
you
see.
you the only
There you
one
go.
on the screen right now.
All right, there you go. All right, so basically, got a Division I scholarship, I went to the same high school that Magic Johnson went to. Oh my God, she's here.
I waited
So I got
specifically until you came on screen by yourself to put that comment up. So
oh, wow. Hey babe, how you doing?
be careful
That's
what
my
you say
girlfriend
now.
there. He just put it on the screen. Giving her shine today after all of our long discussions. But back to the regular scheduled broadcast.
I love it.
Went to the same high school as Magic Johnson at Everett High School, out of Lansing, Michigan. Got a Division I scholarship to go to Cal State Fullerton. After my freshman year, got caught up in a gambling situation that a lot of people don't know, where I did the right thing as opposed, but the average kid does. And I ended up transferring to the University of New Orleans. From there, I finished out my collegiate eligibility there, and from there, I went to play in the USBL. Um, USBL went to the D League. Then I went to ABA, played in some new league that they had formed called the World Basketball Association, called WBA. And then after a couple of minor league teams, I just got frustrated with the minor league system. So getting frustrated with the minor league system, I said I wanted to try, overseas, and got an opportunity to play ball in Turkey, Estonia, and Uruguay. So after my second year in Uruguay, the name Tallboy was derived from doing an and one mixtape Mountain Dew summer tour. And
Mm,
from there, I just told my agent I didn't really want to. I wanted to get endorsements. That was my dream. Kind of laughed me out of the room, and I just said that was pretty much it. Overseas, I tried one more year in the D League, and the game was much more faster than what it was maybe about 3 years prior,
Mm.
4 years prior. And I just
mhm.
said, "Hey, it's time for me to come out of professional sports and you know pursue other endeavors." That's the
Well,
abbreviated
appreciate you,
version.
but we do have a question. I don't know if this is part of something you want to dive into, but you are being asked, what do the initials stand for?
The initials of TB, Tall Boy. That's all I'm gonna say. So don't
Oh,
put nothing else
Lord,
up on the screen.
I'm see,
See,
Tammy,
you trying to
don't do
start
you
something.
messing around. You're gonna get
Oh,
everybody in
nah,
trouble
nah.
here.
See, you
Remember,
over
we
there playing
recording.
around. You know who that is on the screen.
Yeah.
Montel, you better get your co-host. You might get your co-host. I might have to take over and start driving the ship. Yeah.
I
TB,
feel you
Tall
on
Boy.
that one.
That's all you need
I'm
to
gonna
know.
leave that. But
Yeah.
so I appreciate you, brother, for going into that because again, that's kind of the reason why we wanted to have you on the show tonight, right? To be able to provide some context as we were talking about basketball in particular, and then just kind of from an athlete's perspective, how the league is reacting to again being locked down, being shut down, the whole COVID restrictions and things like that. What does that look like? And then coming from how you get ready to suit up before you go out on the court, what's that mentality like? Because now we're talking about like the All-Star game from an NBA perspective. They're talking about doing all of the festivities that they typically do just in one day, and there are some marquee players that don't want to go, right? They don't want to be a part of the situation because there's been I'm gonna say a fallout of COVID protocol in the NBA this season as opposed to last season. Last season they were on point. I don't think hardly anyone was affected, was restricted, was held back. But this year we got half teams being infected or in close proximity, and games are being postponed, canceled, whatever the case may be. What are both of your thoughts again about just having All Star Day? You can't call it a weekend, but All Star Day right now from an NBA perspective, and how you think that can play out and still be relevant? Because the NFL, the Pro Bowl, I don't think is relevant anymore. I think again,
Mm-mm.
those dudes look. The season's over. They don't want to get hurt. Grown men running at each other at 20, 30 miles an hour. No, they don't run that fast. But again, you got 200-pound men running. They're not trying to hurt themselves. There's hardly ever any defense at the NBA All-Star game, right? So now you add a whole other thing with the pandemic. Do these guys really, should they even be playing?
Guess first, tall boy. Go ahead. Get my.
All right. So I have mixed feelings on this, and I say that because the NBA, it's all about money for them.
Mhm.
It's a money game. I mean,
Mhm.
let's just call it what it is. When you look at, listen to the comments, you have people that are dying every single day, and I get it. Those sports on a TV screen, it takes people's minds away from the regular struggles that we're dealing with. So that's why they get paid the bucks because they're extraordinary at what they do. and they play at such a high level. Um, the NBA want those millions of dollars. There comes a price with that. That makes sense.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, I, unfortunately, that price is you have to play. Don't play. Just can't get paid all those millions here. 2 years, $85 million. 5 years, 120 supermax contract. You don't play, you don't get paid. And right now, with the fact that the NBA took that big hit with China, with Houston last year, the comments that were made by the Houston
Mhm.
owner to China, they're trying to recoup some of that money to where they can still pay out. The players still want their checks.
Yeah.
They still
True.
got
True.
families to feed. So unfortunately, you're in a pandemic, and it's like, well, I don't think we should have an all-star game. Okay, you're right from that perspective. But then you say we're going to put it in Atlanta. When you say you're going to put it in Atlanta, it's only fitting for you to put it in Atlanta. And I only say that from an all around perspective. You got to think Turner is right here in Atlanta. It ain't like they got to fly people out.
Yeah.
It's right down the
Mhm.
street, literally blocks away from Phillips Arena. Lou Williams is not going to be able to go to Magic City and get his lemon pepper wings. You just not. No, I'm just being
That's
honest.
true. No, you telling the
Yeah.
truth.
And then you have the players that are coming in. They're going to be put in a bubble, so they're going to be safe. I think the players already had it made up in their mind that, hey, since I'm going to get this break, the 7 to 10 day break, I get a chance to go home and be with my family and, take care of whatever business that they may have been able to take care of. But
Mm.
now that's off the table for the All Stars. So now that's a personal decision or that's a personal want. But you got to remember, you have this obligation to your fans because you have this obligation to your fans or to your job. You have to do it. If you say, I'm not going to play, you're going to get fined. And if you get
Mhm.
fined, that fine is not worth not playing in that game, if that makes sense. It's a 1 day event. So that's my take. I mean, you got to think if people do not come to Atlanta, and unfortunately, I know some of the promoters that are trying to have NBA All-Star weekend parties,
Yeah.
they're not going to wear the mask. They're not. Atlanta is wide open. I live here in the city. I have
Right.
friends who are DJs. I have friends that are promoters. I have, they're going to be in the clubs and they're going to be doing parties. And basically, it's a hotbed for COVID. So, all those people that are from the Carolinas, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, they're going to drive down and they're going to have a lit weekend. And hopefully, those numbers don't go up. These kids, 35 and under, really believe that COVID isn't real. So, with
Hmm.
that being said, you're bringing a major event to a wide open city
Major
that the
city. Yeah.
cases and the numbers are going up every weekend. It's gonna, something bad is about to happen. So it's kind of like enter the doors at your own risk.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it is. So from a business standpoint, to wrap up, it's business. It's money. No different from college football. That's why they had the national championship game. It was money. The Super
Mhm.
Bowl, it was money. The only person who won at the Super Bowl was that streaker and that company that was on his chest
True.
because he only spent $500 to get out of jail and a Super Bowl ticket from the owner of the company, and he got free advertising. Everybody else, it was money. $5.5 million to spend a commercial for 30 seconds. Money.
Terrible.
Need the money. So tennis, any sports. I mean, whether you think we need sports or not, that's a personal decision, but that's somebody's livelihood. No different from do you think we need a concert with a musician? It's that's how they make their livelihood. So it's a money game. And right
Hmm.
now, the way our governor here in Georgia is, rent is due on the first of the month. I need my
Mhm.
money.
Yeah.
What it is. Run me my money.
So
Montel.
I wanted that to be a controversial topic, and I'm loving the comments that are coming as well from like Tammy, who lives there in the same general area as you. And it's unfortunate that Atlanta is the way that it is in terms of, again, more folks are open as opposed to, again, wearing the mask and being protective. Montel, talk to me about your thoughts because again, and you
Yeah.
are real close with, I'm gonna say, the youth, and you are
Mhm.
impressionable on young athletes. And what do you tell them when you see something like this about to jump off, right?
I mean, I'm fully in agreement with Tallboy. Even more so, I think that it's more of a power move or desperation move for the NBA because there is no fans, so they're losing revenue on that as well.
Mm,
They're trying to figure out a way to make up revenue
yeah.
because at the end of the day, the TV contracts are good and they're just like any other CEO. Yeah, I'm making a big. I'm used to making 2 billion. But I'm only going to make a billion this year. I got to figure out a way to make up that other billion.
Mm-hmm.
There's never enough money. There's never enough. And so with that being said, they're finding all these crazy ways to generate. I believe having it in Atlanta that's strategic. Just like Tallboy said, Turner Networks down the street. They don't have to risk their workers and their coworkers as much as these NBA players flying in. Like you said, they're going to protect those superstars. They have to. That's their live. That's their money hit. But all the young guys that are in the NBA, all the young guys that are college want to come to Atlanta because of All-Star game. It's going to be a regular All-Star weekend, whether they want to believe it or not.
That's
Just
a
because they're
shame.
playing on
Yeah.
one day, the
That's
parties is going to happen.
yeah.
It's just like you go to Vegas. You're gonna gamble when you go to Vegas. It is what it is. That's all driven. I think. I think the NBA is playing with fire though when they do that because now I think you're sending out mixed messages.
Yeah.
As far
So
as how they want what they want to say, they're sending out the mixed messages. Be safe, but hey, it's okay to go out here and go do this. So you kind of
let
send
me
it.
ask
You
so
doing
let me ask you
what?
about the youngsters, right?
Mm-hmm.
March Madness is coming around the corner,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And that's, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
March Madness is real money. I mean, all this other stuff we talk about is just fake money, but March Madness is real money. And when you start messing with college sports, especially as you go more to the east of the country, it's livelihood, and it's more
Mm-hmm.
important than church and state and all that. Sometimes you go to the Alabamas and you start talking about college sports. You go to the LSU family.
Yeah.
You go to the
But the difference
Auburn
between
family.
with the college and the tournament, with the college and the tournament, there's money set, depending on how far you advance. Their money set, and their TV money is where it generates more revenue for the NCAA. The money in college sports is the
Mm.
betting, the gambling aspect for the tournament. That's where a bulk of the money goes
Yeah. Okay.
in transactions of hands.
Okay.
So, but I mean, the popularity of it, they already said they're going to let limited fans in. Fans are going to attend the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, they already said it. This is just going to be a limited part, so they'll gain some revenue there. But they're banking on the tournament being shown on TV. How we're watching it while we're at work on noon. How we're playing all our office pools. How people are playing on these online things to kind of get up. That's going to be a big generator. But I mean, I know the money's set for each individual team based on how far they advance within the tournament. So
Okay.
I think everybody's playing catch up with the money, man. I mean, you're losing billions of dollars on fans not attending sports events. Period. It is what it is. But I mean, we're in that situation where we're forced not to because if fans were allowed to go, they would go. I truly believe that. If someone said, we open up the doors, everybody go, COVID or not, that bad boy would be packed.
Be packed. Would be
It'd be
packed.
packed. There's somebody, the bad guy or whoever the governor or whoever you want to play with that person is playing is the bad guy because he doesn't let us go, but it's for our own good. So I mean, as far as impressionable on youth, I think youth are gonna be youth, man. They're gonna do. I mean, God, youth to do what you tell them to do.
Mm.
As long as
Mm.
the authority is telling youth what to do, they pretty much follow protocol. It's at least the high school level. It starts to change when you get to college and also in the pros.
Tallboy, let me ask you. I know you're out in the streets. I know, right? You walk out there. Let me finish, brother. Let me finish. You in them streets out there in Atlanta, and they know you. Not just because of your 7-foot frame, but you're a community man. But again, you talk to a lot of influential folks in the area. What from a entertainment, from a sports perspective, are you talking to any athletes? Are you talking to anybody that's attached to the athlete? I mean the sports world, and how are they adjusting right now in your area? What are they doing? I know I've seen a lot of I'm gonna call YouTube videos of music concerts, things like that in your area, but I haven't really seen a lot of sports happening, right? I haven't seen Ice Cube with a 3-on-3 or anything like. Again, I don't know. I'm just wondering from your perspective, you being a man of the people that's out there collaborating and building community. Are you seeing anything um, happening right now in this past year?
So first, you see the sign that's behind me right now.
Oh my
Slide out
goodness,
of
he's
the
gonna
way.
stay in his
Yeah.
lane.
Yep. That's what I'm doing.
He's
Staying in my
staying in.
lane. But I will say this. About a month ago, I went to a AAU tournament and
Mm,
I filmed an event, and the kids were there.
okay.
They had to have their mask on. I mean, it was the gyms were saying, "Hey, kids, coaches, teams, team Connecticut, team Tennessee, team Kentucky, gonna have this tournament right here in Atlanta. You guys got to have your mask on after the games." This was the experience that I witnessed with my own eyes. I'm just there to film,
Yeah.
just the team that hired me to come out and capture the content for them. But it was, you guys have to come in one way, which is walk up the steps. I had all this camera equipment, and it's like, who's gonna carry this cart up these steps to roll it across, to walk back down, but the door right there. But they had a you're gonna walk in one way, gonna disinfect these courts, disinfect these chairs. Coaches, you gotta have your mask on. If you don't, team gets a technical. If second one on the player, they don't play at all.
Mm.
Basically, that was the rules. That was just how it was. These kids, they just want to play. They just want to hoop. I ain't got it. You ain't got it.
Yeah.
Come on, let's play.
Yeah.
So from a high school, middle school level of AAU, that's what I witnessed
Okay.
about a month ago. As far as other sports, I can't really speak on that because I don't really go out unless I see it on Instagram. I
That's
can't
a smart thing to
honestly,
do, bro. That's a smart answer for sure. I love it.
as I've said before, 35 and under, they think they're immune.
Hmm.
40 and up, it's like, hey, I'm not going to take my chance with this. But I will say here in Atlanta, you know, people are out and they don't care. They just want to, they honestly feel like COVID is over. So whether I want to
Mm.
take the shot or I don't want to take the shot, that's a personal decision. That's a family decision that you got to have with your family. But I just think people just feel like, hey, we're tired of being on punishment, and it's
Hmm.
time for us to go out there and go. And at the end of the day, money is being lost, shall I say, for
Yeah.
every day that somebody is not playing. And the way the governor here in Georgia has set it up, I don't care if you are go out of business or if you stay in business. Rent is
Wow.
due the first of the month, and that's the
Wow.
attitude that's here in Georgia. If Stacey
Mm.
Abrams, this is not a political conversation within office, I'm pretty sure we would be shut down. Fortunately, we have a Republican governor, and Republican governor says we open. The
Mm.
local mayor, she says we're shut down, but the governor says we're open. So guess what? We
Guess
open.
what? Yeah.
So the
Mm.
bars, the restaurants, the clubs, the gyms, they got rent. They got light bills to pay. Georgia Power is not cutting no deals. They not, furloughing. They not, waiving no money. They want their money. So guess what?
Mm.
The doors of the church, the doors of the gyms, the doors of
The
everything
doors of
else
the
are
church are
now
open.
open. Yeah, so
Mm.
we got to get you in here. So that's just the attitude.
Hey, Montel, I told you see, we getting into it, right? This is what we do,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah. No, man. I mean, that's just he's just telling the truth, and the truth actually it hurts, man. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, they don't mind putting our lives in jeopardy for that mighty dollar,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. I mean, and that's the hard, honest truth. I know here, on the law just passed, or I guess they just granted let them play for football for high school
That's where I was
and
going to go
and
next.
fall
Yeah. So talk
sports.
about that. Yeah.
That yeah, that's they just granted that for high schools. I guess if you're under a certain tier, they're gonna let kids go back to practice, and then you'll have a late football season, and all the sports are starting to trickle in from that point.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
been on the fence for it. I mean, I have a senior son that's a senior. He's an athlete. Letting him play or not play in this thing, but bottom line, they like you said, tired of being on punishment. Let them go. And I know, and I know the government kind of gave an impression because it was a several lawsuits against him, saying why is he not letting kids play?
Yeah.
And they throw all these bogus numbers out there for every, they throw all these stats saying, hey, kids can't catch it, and our kids can't catch it. Oh, kids played in all these other states. Good, they played in other states, but there were some issues when they played in other states as well. So we're California, we're the last, us and Hawaii are the last two states to kind of say let it go. Now we're going to go into it. It's mixed emotions, for as far as everybody trying to play and these kids getting on. I do believe this though, and I'll express this. I hate the fact that they talk about the mental health issues. These kids are struggling grade wise and all these other issues that are going on. I believe I do think that exists in some cases, but in a lot of cases, kids are just doing what they want to do and having free hand. They're not taking any responsibility or having the maturity to be able to do the schoolwork and do things, because I don't see mental health when they're on that damn video game for 4 or 5 hours a day. Period. They don't cry mental health when they're on the PlayStation 2 or they're on the Xbox all day. They're not, but they cry mental. Now these coaches are crying mental health. Our kids are having mental health problems. Our kids are doing all these different things. I'm not gonna buy that. Plus, these issues have been happening in urban communities or poor communities forever, and they never addressed it. They never talked about, hey, let's go save everybody. It's about all the kids need to play. You never address those issues now, but now that it's affecting white communities or affluent communities, and now their kids that are seniors can't play, now all of a sudden, my kid has a mental health issue. My kid has a problem going to school. My kid can't handle this. He's been on Zoom calls too damn long. Which one do you want? So I there's a double-edged sword. There's a hidden agenda in that, and it's pretty frustrating that it's that, because if it was only affecting people of color or people in those urban neighborhoods, it wouldn't have been no let them play. It would have been like, hey, they just can't play, and we can continue doing what we want to do.
So folks, shouts out. This is what we do, right? Team No Sleep. We don't just talk about the scores. We don't just talk about the superficial things. We are definitely talking about the social impact of sports. So this show is a little bit different, right? We kind of gets into the weeds, and you see Martel doesn't hold any bars and anything. And Tall Boy, we appreciate you as well, because those are the things. These are the conversations that we need to be having, right? These are those awkward conversations. So appreciate you guys doing this. And I want to give a shout out. I see somebody before you go. I just want to do shout out to, we got somebody in the room right now. Sammy Superstar is in the building. That's Montel, you don't know Sammy. That's a bad man right there. That's a bad man. So shouts out to you, Sammy. We appreciate you. Go ahead, brother.
Montel, you're a parent, and I would love to get your take on this. How would you like this situation handled?
The current situation, I would probably be like, unfortunately, class of 2021 in high school, it's a wrap. We're not gonna play. I would have probably threw down the heavy gavel and said, until we figure this out, because we're all in the unknown zone. We don't know what this COVID virus does. We're speculating on how it passes, how it goes through. We know young people are asymptomatic, but I don't know who lives with generations. I don't know who you go home to. Do you go home to somebody with a pre-existing condition?
Good point.
Do you go home to grandparents?
Yeah.
Do you go home to whoever? I think sports is very important. I think it's very impressionable in our livelihood today as families and parents and everybody who wants to participate. But at the end of the day, it's not worth no one's life or subjecting no one's life to danger with the COVID, because as we see, we're at 400,000 plus dead.
Yeah.
We done lost dead. This no coming, coming back. That's a real stat.
Yeah.
All that other stuff is speculation stats, because they're trying to figure out how this disease spreads, mutates, whose immune system it can hold it better than the next person. But the fact of the matter, we have 400 plus people dead. I'm sorry, kids of 2021. Just like the war when they drafted people, unfortunately, you got to go. Unfortunately, we got to stop sports. I'm sorry. Yeah. Let's continue, and everything will pick up its pace as we go along. I'm not buying it, but I'm not going to buy into this mental state stuff that kids that are flunking school all of a sudden, kids that are now having all these mental health issues where they didn't have before. I'm not downplaying mental health. I know that exists. I know some kids are isolated, and that's a problem. But I do also believe a lot of kids are just not mature enough to handle the situation, so they take advantage of it. So that's my take. I think that's just real. Yeah. So, go ahead, Toby. I didn't hear you. Go ahead. Say.
Is that the parents' fault or is that the kids' fault?
I think it's a combination. I think it's the parents'
it's
fault, to be
both.
honest with you. But it's a combination of both. I think when you're 17, 18-year-old, you need to take some maturity and take some responsibility for yourself. But I also do parents need to set the tone and enforce your rules to make sure they do what they're supposed to do. But I had a couple of caveats thrown at me. Some people saying, "Well, what about kids that have to go work to help provide for those families?" Now they can't go to school because parents been laid off. They got to get a job. They got to provide.
Mm.
I feel bad, man. I really do, because I know those are real life scenarios. But at the end of the day, there's got to be some type of line drawn. I mean, there's got to be some type of criteria that you set to say, "Hey, you know what? Unfortunately, you had to do that, but there's a sacrifice that you had to do that." I don't have me personally, I don't have the right answer what that balance is. But I believe, though, I think a lot of kids and a lot of parents want their kid to just play sports so damn bad, they don't give a rat's
Yeah, they don't
who.
care. Yeah.
They don't care about the risk or the danger of other people.
Yeah.
And I have a kid that's a senior, so my son, I want him to see him play. I want to see him get out there and run track. I want to see him play football, but I don't want him to get sick, and I don't want him to get nobody else sick.
Yeah,
Bottom line.
is it worth it, right? I mean, because that could be the last thing that he does, and you don't want that on anyone's conscience that he was out there with some kids from some school down the road, and they coughing and doing. I mean, it's a
but I know they got some.
Nobody. Go ahead. I'm gonna say it's a situation that nobody has ever been into, and we're all trying to figure it out as we go. But
they said and what they also said in the protocols, the kid's gonna have to get tested every week. Kids gonna get tested every week. I don't know how they're gonna afford that. Last time I checked, there was a shortage of test kits. Now all of a sudden we have enough to test every high school kid that's playing a sport in the state of California every week.
Make it plain, brother. Make it plain.
I mean, I'm just like, okay, man. I mean, where's all this coming from all of a sudden? So I mean, I have my reservations, but I mean, also at the end of the day, I got to kind of figure out what the medium is. I mean, like I said, I can see from both sides. I want my son to play, but then again, I don't want to get affected. I mean, I wanted, I'm a hypocrite in this one, right down the middle, straight hypocrite. But I mean, I'm just being honest.
Right for you, and I think that's the statement right there. We each got to do the right thing for each of our families, and I completely agree with both of you. But let's get focused. Let's get focused, and let's talk about some other things. I would love to continue to hear folks in the comments telling us their thoughts and their concerns. Again, we get a little warm under the collar sometimes, and this is the forum to have those conversations, because we want to share thoughts with you, and without having these conversations, no one's going to grow and no one's going to get better. So, football. Let's talk. Let's lighten the load slightly. Slightly. Let's talk about your boy Deion Sanders. Head coach, Jackson State, HBCU. Shouts out to the HBCUs, y'all. Had his first game not too long ago.
Today.
Was it today? I don't even know when.
A few hours a day. Yeah, a few hours a day. Yeah.
Well, there you go. A couple of hours ago, god dog it. They played Edward Waters. I have never heard of Edward Waters.
NAI school. Small NAI school.
NAI? Okay. Well, Deion's coaching debut at Jackson State, they towed Edward Waters up 53-0. Ooh. Good Lord. That's I would have just walked off the field in the second. I wouldn't even came out after halftime if I was being spanked like that. Y'all tell me. So I bring that up and then kind of lightheartedly say that, but I want to talk the significance of that as well. Deion coming from a storied career in the NFL, being again shut down corner, right? I mean, just a guy who folks look up to in terms of his abilities, in terms of his capabilities, and what his knowledge of the game, being able to see the field from both sides. He played baseball, football, he played them all. The fact that he went over and decided he wanted to be a head coach, decided that he wanted to be the head coach of the HBCU, and right out of the gate, look, every game is not going to be 53-0, but your thoughts on someone of that caliber coming out with the W day one.
Boy, go ahead. You got a comment on that?
Okay. So y'all not gonna like what I'm about to say.
No,
I'm
it's
about
not
to say
about
some
it.
stuff too, but go
It's
ahead.
not about that. See, you
So
know, Tone,
congratulate,
from all our other
congratulate.
shows, I'll throw these zingers out there and know what I'm
No,
trying
I
to
mean,
get
but
from y'all.
see,
I'm trying to get
that
some reaction.
I'm
So,
not worried about the question. I'm not worried about the question. The response is congratulations to Deion. But I'm not trying to be funny, but Jackson State probably paid Edward Waters to come into so
mm,
they can come beat up on them, and so
Hmm.
they make them look good on the first game.
God, you talking
'Cause
about the underbelly now, boy. You
so
talking
yeah,
about the
so
gray market.
I'm not knocking Deion Sanders, but
Yeah.
that's what all colleges do. They to give their kids a boost of confidence, and let them know, hey, well, you're not as bad as you think you are. You know, they send some team that you never heard of before. I'm knocking it because my very first game was against the Utah Utes, and we were
Mm,
Cal State Fullerton,
yeah.
and we got drilled. And it was like, who's Cal State Fullerton? Like when I said to people back in Lansing, I'm going to Cal State Fullerton, they're like, Cal State who?
They're like, what?
But
Wait a minute. They're like,
who you with? Right. So I mean, I'm not knocking Dion because at the end of the day, the talent is there clearly. I saw the highlights on YouTube. I don't know if you the highlights on the screen or not, but at the end of the day, it was a win. But it's nice to see his support from his colleagues that played in the NFL with him.
mm-hmm,
Nice to see that he has that support system. But when you do that against Alabama, do that against Michigan State, do that
mm,
against Boise State, do that against UCLA. Probably not going to happen. Probably.
yeah, yeah.
So now, don't get me wrong. He does have some studs over there because they all left the universities, their respective universities, to come over there, and they can make it competitive. But do I think that honestly he's gonna crush the NI? He's in the NIA or what's
No,
that
he's a
conference
Division One AA. He's
No, yeah,
Division One. He's in
he D
SWAC, I
one.
think.
Yeah.
SWAC.
in the
He's D
SWAC?
one.
So
Yeah.
he's gonna crush. So he's gonna crush those teams that are in Division One AA, but do that against Division One Single A. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're not gonna do that against Alabama. You're not gonna do
I
that
don't.
True.
against
He's not gonna do that in all of Division One AA. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm happy for Deion. I think Deion has put off the most magical promotional tour ever for HBCU.
Mm,
He's made Jackson State now relevant in the conversation. When we used to just say Grambling, Southern, or Morehouse and all those. Now Jackson State is in that conversation where they never were before because Deion has brought a whole essence to that school,
Fact.
which I'm
Fact.
applauding for him to do that. Now I do believe though, football wise, he's done some great things recruiting. He's going to have some good teams there, but the bottom line, he will be competitive in the HBCU conference he's in with the SWAC, but he's going to have a hard time when he goes against the James Madisons of the world.
mm,
He's not beating North Dakota State. I don't care who he's got on his team. North Dakota State is the powerhouse of Division One. James Madison is number 2.
mhm.
Now, will he be able to make the playoffs in Division One AA? Not this year, but I'm talking about going into next year when he has his son and then others guys. I think he's got to get acclimated when he's going to start coaching those tough games. Deion's a great player. Is he a great head coach? That still remains to be seen.
Yeah.
That still remains to be seen because at the end of the day, the X's and O's is going to have to come into play. Are you going to have the right personnel? And is he going to be able to continue to be able to keep getting that personnel? Because let's be honest, guys, in this 4 years, if some of those guys don't go pro, he will start losing that lackluster guys transferring there and going there.
Yeah. Draft picks are going to be a big thing, right? And
You know,
yeah.
and I wouldn't say just draft, just guys getting the opportunity to go play in the league and all those things. I know he's really fighting for them to be able to go to big bowls, being in that conference and stuff. I think that's going to be real hard. That's going to be an upward fight because Division One AA has a playoff system. Big
Yeah.
schools, the other schools, single A has a bowl system, and then they have the 4-game playoff system. I don't know where is he going to opt out of playoffs and try to go play in a big bowl to play against somebody bigger, or what is he going to do? And
Yeah.
also, when is Deion's schedule going to start taking on, like you said, the bigger competition
Some real
to show that
you
he
know,
can coach and then he can play? Just like he paid Edward State or Edward Waters to come play, somebody's going to play Jackson State that they're going to whoop on him and bring him on over and smack him around a little bit and put him there. But I like that he's really engulfing the guys that used to be in the NFL. They're
hmm
supporting him a lot. Um, that just shows how strong of how strong of
Yeah,
his
your boy
character is as
Troy
a
Aikman was at
player.
the game, I guess. So, and I'm
Yeah,
sure
he
there was
came to
some
the
other
game.
folks. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
mean,
Troy Aikman ain't been to
They
Jackson,
got
Mississippi probably
they
ever. He he
they
never
they
been to
got
Jackson, Mississippi.
Mississippi they got Mississippi Valley State next Saturday. They got Grambling State March 6th.
Yep.
So I
I'm gonna be
mean
watching that one. I'm gonna be
now
watching
we're
that one.
gonna see, and then I think after that, let's see, he's got Alabama State March 20th, Prairie View the 28th, Southern April 3rd, Alabama A&M April 10th, and Alcorn State April 17th. So I mean,
Southern Alcorn State will be his two big ones. Those are gonna be the tough ones right there.
uh, Alcorn State and Southern.
Yeah,
Okay.
those will be the two.
I,
Those are gonna be the two tough ones,
I
I
think
believe.
Grambling will give him a little run for his money as well.
Grambling might they're usually up and down. I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen their squad.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
All right.
checking that one
So
out for sure. All right. Well,
I don't know.
again,
I think now to answer your question, Montel, I think that
Yes.
he will be able to get his guys some looks because he knows those recruiters.
Mm.
He knows those scouts.
mm,
And
Hmm.
everything's all about relationships. You know that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
it's
true. That's
it's all
absolutely true. Yeah.
about relationships. You had Troy Aikman at the game today. You telling me that he didn't pick up the phone
yeah, Troy
and
don't just show up for everybody's
yeah,
game.
I mean, come
Yeah,
on
Yeah.
now. These kids are going to get looks. I
yeah,
mean,
Yeah.
now you got to come from Alcorn State, Southern, Alabama State, Mississippi Valley, Alabama A&M, Prairie View, and Grambling. They're gonna have their studs are gonna have to come in and show something because those scouts are gonna come just to support Deion. And
That's
then
true. Yeah.
as a scout, you're gonna say that's how I got recruited. The scout
Hmm.
came from high school, recruit another kid from the rival high school. I just so happened to be suspended from school, but I was clapping and cheering for my teammates that the scout or
hmm
the coach was like, "Who's the big kid underneath the rim?" And it was like, "Good kid, good attitude, just got caught up at the wrong time got caught up at the wrong place at the wrong time." Man never saw me play. Offered me a Division I scholarship. So
Mm.
if that happened to me, I got a
yeah,
Yeah.
Division I basketball
yeah.
scholarship. He never saw me play. He was there to see another kid on the other team.
Love it.
Mm.
So those other teams, they got to come with it when they play against
Yeah.
Deion's team and say,
I,
"All right, well, this is my shot to make it into the NFL. I need to get,
hmm
12 tackles. I need to
Yep.
get,
Yeah,
6 catches, and I got to do something phenomenal. I gotta be able to kick that ball, 45 yards or show that I can kick a
Hmm.
60-yard field goal.
Hmm.
Because you weren't on the radar before.
Yeah,
Now
and
you
I
have
agree
a
with you.
chance.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's gonna put some shine. He put some shine on some HBCUs in that conference now because he is Dion. And like I said,
yeah.
he's pulled off what people. I mean, he's pulled off the amazing promotional tour that ever in college sports, in my opinion.
And and
Brother's done
and,
a
So
and
great
that's
job.
I see him doing this for 3 years, and I think after the 3rd year, I think
yeah.
he's gonna
I
be
don't.
out.
Yeah, he's not. I don't see him as well for a long period of time. And what Montel, what you were just saying, that was really the aspect that I wanted to focus on. Right.
Mm.
He's turning kind of the spotlight for a minute onto the HBCUs. We're getting front page news. We're getting on ESPN, not just ESPN 2 and 3, right? But we're
Mm-hmm.
getting an HBCU conversation happening on mainstream media, which
Ain't
is
nothing else on TV. Come on now,
I
let's be
know
honest.
ain't nothing on TV. God, why
I mean,
you,
I'm not trying
brother?
to be
Ain't
funny or
nothing on TV,
disrespectful to
man.
Jackson State because I respect Jackson State, but there's nothing else on TV
There
because
ain't
right
nothing.
now
Ain't nothing on
it would
TV.
it yet if the game was 2 hours ago or 4 hours ago today, or if it was on Saturday, that would be college basketball, and you know it.
Ain't nothing. Tiger
Yeah.
Woods not even playing. He got his golf tournament that he paying for. That he got his name. He not even playing today. He said he not coming back until maybe next year. God, ain't nothing on TV.
So I mean, so this is a perfect opportunity for him to shine. This
Yeah.
is a
Mm-hmm.
perfect opportunity for those kids to get it, for other people. Because I was looking at the quarterback, I was looking at the guy who
Yeah.
hit on right before halftime, and it was like, who is this guy?
hmm
Maybe I might want to look into Jackson State a little bit more. I was just looking at the
Mm-hmm.
highlights, so now
Mm-hmm.
I may want to catch their next game that they have
hmm
on TV. But that's all because of Dion. I would have never
Yep.
checked out an HBCU game. So, and I
Mm-hmm.
get it that these NBA players, these NFL players, they're giving these HBCUs their just due credit because I mean HBCUs without them, I mean there's such a rich history with HBCUs,
Right.
but how
Mhm.
many NFL and how many NBA players have made it to made it to the big game or to the big, to the next level coming from HBCU. So for the fact that Chris Paul is throwing shine,
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
go back to the NBA real quick, they're giving what $2.3 million
Mhm.
for All-Star money. A portion of the proceeds are gonna
Mm,
go
mm,
to,
mm.
COVID and the NBA. That's 2.3 million. 2.3 million is the rookie salary.
Mhm.
Uh, so just call it what it is. So you
Mhm.
get so that's great. It's awesome that you're doing it, but I mean, like you said, at what expense?
Yep.
Oof,
I
I
agree.
love that. I love that. Let me go on to the next topic here. I love that answer. That's again, man, that's pretty relevant in terms of what you talked about. Had a little tennis action. We had the Australian Open just happened. A couple of decent matches. I couldn't watch them all because they were on Australia time, and that's like 3 in the morning. I can't be
Only
watching
one
tennis.
mattered, man. Only one mattered. Serena and Osaka was the only one that
Yeah.
mattered.
So, oh boy, Djokovic came back. I'll just say that he got his. He won. So he won his 9 time. He's a 9 time champion. So shouts out to him for having kind of a comeback tournament event because he had some issues last time where he hit the ball and he knocked the line judge down. So that was a problem for him and he got disqualified. But yes, Naomi Osaka and Serena Williams. Oh my gosh, Naomi beat Serena and then ended up winning the whole thing on the women's side. So shouts out to Naomi Osaka. Y'all tell me what you think about that. Uh youngster going out there and making her place in the tennis world. The next Venus, the next Serena, the next Billie Jean, all that. Huh?
I mean,
23
me
years
personally,
old.
yeah, man. I'm excited that the guard's been passed, man. I mean, I
Yeah,
think I think that's the passing of the guard. Obviously, Naomi's really really talented. I think she's going to win a whole bunch of tournaments and all that good stuff.
yeah,
And I'm glad to see it in tennis. In on the female side of tennis, and she's taking the reins. We still got relevance in the sport over there,
exactly.
and her name being mentioned. Unlike golf, we haven't had another African American to pass the torch down from Tiger Woods
True,
as of yet.
true.
It hasn't been really somebody on that main stage. We do at least have in women's tennis. We have to pass that torch down to Naomi, and I think she's carrying it well, man. I think she's gonna be. She carries herself well.
Yeah, she got a
She's
lot of
you know
swag
she,
too. She got a lot
she
of
she's really
swag,
yeah yeah.
so that's
She
really good to
really
see.
yeah, she represents herself very, very well, man. She's just a dope tennis player, man. I think is like we were saying, you know, the GOAT is just getting passed down, man. Just passing the torch down to somebody. And I hope Serena's there for her. I hope Serena is gonna. I mean, it seems like she's mentoring her
Yeah,
and gonna guide her through the ups and downs, man. So I'm excited, man. I'm glad we're gonna be, like I said, we have some more relevance
yeah.
in
And
the
but
sport
but
again.
Serena not she a little salty though, right? She
Yeah,
not
yeah, I mean,
she not trying to just tap out. She wanted to win,
yeah,
and
yeah,
she
yeah.
gonna be back, and she gonna be mad now next year. Oh, it's gonna be good to watch. But yeah, I agree with that. Tallboy, you watch any of that, or you catch any of the highlights of
I just got
a
through
little
watching the
tennis action?
highlights while Montel was over there doing while he was giving his input, shall we
Mm,
say. Um, um,
you was multitasking.
yeah, I mean, you got to. You're
Hmm.
asking me a question, I got to be ready, right?
You don't. I
Um,
told you don't know where it's coming from. I'll throw
it's all
these
good. It's
curveballs,
all
guys.
good.
Dog.
So I don't really follow tennis, but
Yeah.
I will say this. Does it sound like it's changing of the guard? Maybe. I know this. Serena's from Flint or Saginaw, Michigan. And I remember when I was growing up, we saw those videos of her dad, giving Venus and Serena tough love when it came to
Hmm.
winning, or when it came to losing, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And now that she's becoming an adult, the good thing about tennis, you can play this sport forever.
Yeah.
It's not like basketball where you got 3 to 5 year lifespan,
Yeah.
Mhm.
NFL 2 to 4 year lifespan. You can play this sport forever.
Yeah.
Same with golf. Do we need more African Americans in all of these sports? Yes. We already know, and you know that give a kid a basketball, you give them a football in the neighborhood. You don't give them a tennis racket,
Yeah.
you don't give them a golf
Yeah.
club, you don't give them
Mhm.
baseball. We know that.
Hmm.
So the fact that this young lady is from Japan, they've groomed her to be where she is. I hate that they're pitting two African Americans against each other as far as passing the torch because it's like it's enough for all of us.
Mhm.
It's like a rapper. It's like there can only be one at the top. No, it can be more. Why are you saying I'm happy that Serena lost and this new person is here? Give this young lady her flowers because yes, she did beat, a goat, or she did beat, someone that has been a multiple time champion. But why can they not all be celebrated? It's like we're pitting Serena against the future. No, give them their shine. In my humble opinion, like
Hmm.
I said, I don't
Mm.
follow sports, so I don't know. But everyone always says there can only be one. Why does it only have to be one? Why can't it be? I get it. We don't remember number two. I get it. No one remembers who the vice president is. I get it. Nobody remembers, who took second place. I mean, am I
Now we
right?
do.
I mean,
We do
No,
right
no, no,
now.
no.
But
Yeah,
that's true though.
no.
So to me, when I look at this, it's like you're saying, Serena, you're done. No, she's not, because you know good and well she gonna come back with that
Yeah, she gonna
vengeance,
be
like
hot too.
James
Ooh,
just
she gonna be
said.
mad.
And when she
Yeah.
comes back, that Nike is gonna eat up on the advertising, and they gonna and they gonna kill it. Like I said, it's an off year. Most people are saying, I'm not even gonna play this year. Yes, she's doing it. I think she just had a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, come
true,
on, man.
true.
Like,
Yeah.
y'all putting all this pressure on Serena, and it's like, come on, man. I need to see more of the tennis skirts and the little, she getting fined for her outfit. Y'all trying to run the lady out off the court, man. I mean, off the tennis court. Come on, man. I need to see more of this. Like, stop. Like,
Yeah.
stop being haters.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
don't
like,
be a
come on,
hater.
man. Y'all, why are y'all trying to run this beautiful woman off saying, Is this it for you?" No, maybe she was dealing with an injury and we didn't know. I mean, who knows? But
Oh, I
she,
mean, yeah.
the way she was raised, it was like losing is not an option for her. And when you think about her dad, think about
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
those.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you think about her dad and all those videos and the way he was the Joe Jackson, he was
Yeah,
the Joe
yeah, yeah,
Jackson.
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
So this ain't the end of
Oh no.
Serena.
Oh
This
no.
ain't the end of Venus. But I
No.
do think that we do need to have more African Americans in the sport. And my thing is, nobody at the top really wants to really change the guard over. If you could be the king, if you could be the champion forever, you ain't trying to give up your crown. You just not gonna do that. Come on, let's be
You gonna
honest.
have to come take it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
feel
You
you.
gotta
gonna have to
come take
pry
it.
it from my
Ain't
hands.
nobody really coming in here to give pointers and tips and stuff like that. We
Yeah.
heard Kobe and Jordan, and they said Kobe would call all the time, but Jordan wasn't really giving out all the
Yeah.
the moves the way he said he did. Like LeBron ain't really calling KD or calling LaMelo up and saying, "Hey, you could do it like this or do it like." No, I mean we're on the same team, but nah, come on, man. This is not the end of Serena, and
I
I
No,
would
no,
be
agree.
and I
surprised.
hope you. I'm agree with you, man. You're right. I think, and what I mean by that, I just think Naomi's is the young up and coming star. Serena's the person that's been there, and Naomi's hot right now. She's just
Yeah.
hot. She's hot right now, and I wish
Right.
they both stay because I mean I want Serena to be around. I mean I don't even watch tennis unless it's usually her playing. So
That's how it is
let's
with
be.
golf too, right? We don't watch it
I'm gonna
unless
just keep it
I
real.
don't watch it
Yeah,
unless Tiger. So she, no, she
unless
not
she's
done. She
playing,
be back. Yeah, she be
I'm
back.
not gonna catch it. So I don't want to see her go. But
Yeah.
I believe she's entering into a stage in her life, though. At least from what I've seen, what they show on TV is like she's in the motherhood. She just had her child.
Yeah.
She's become more of a family person. So they always say she's leaning towards retirement or possibly retirement. So that's what I mean by changing the guard.
We'll
If
see.
there is a change in the guard, otherwise, them sisters, man, I hope they play forever.
Oh yeah.
Keep being queens out there, man.
I
I'm
love it.
with it.
So I got to throw these couple of comments up there because talk about you said something about the VP and this one in particular. Like I said, we gonna remember the one we got right now. The one we got right now is gonna go is definitely gonna be etched in the
Montel, where
history
your
book.
wife at, man? Why is she not in these comments, brother?
Man,
Why is she not in
she
these
she
comments?
down there with the kids, man.
Yeah.
You need to be in these
she
comments. Hey, man, I'm charging you to get your wife in these comments because Tammy is
She got a
She's
couple more
giving
out
it
here.
to me
I'm
right
I'm
now.
saving them for specific times to break them in, but we'll see. Talk to me, Montel. What you got, brother? We gone through a lot of subjects, and I wanted to do
I
that
got one for you.
spotlight on
Go ahead.
Naomi. Hold on, guess. I'll come to you in a second, brother.
Sorry. Go
Stay in
back
your
in my.
lane. Stay in your
Yeah,
lane.
staying. Take me on. Sorry.
I like that concept you had about doing a spotlight a couple of weeks ago, and I think we did that justice today, talking about Naomi Osaka, and then her role, her charge, right, with maybe being that next one, but she's still second fiddle to them Williams sisters, and she's the grasshopper and the sensei, which is all good, but we got some great representation. So really, really shouts out. I'm proud of her for doing what she's doing and continue to do it. And again, like I said, 23 years old, she's got 60 more years to play. Tall boy, you said you had something you wanted to talk about. What you got?
Talk about Draymond Green.
Why you gonna mess with poor Draymond Green?
Go ahead, man. Go. What you gonna say?
So I would love to get your thoughts on it. And Draymond, I don't know if you can pull up his rant that he had the other day at the press conference saying about being professional as an athlete, saying it's not fair to have a guy that up for the game 5 minutes before the game, but he's in warm-ups, and then 5 minutes before the game, he's told that he has to suit up because there's a potential trade, and now he has to remain professional. Um, that he has to remain professional, but yet you get on Kyrie for saying he needs some mental health, or something's wrong with him, and he had a rant. Um, I think this is a two-part question. Think he should have been fined,
Yeah.
or do you think he will get fined for his comments? And then the second part of the question that I have is he right about being why why is it that players have to always remain professional, but when is it the team's responsibility to say, hey, we got this one wrong? It's like, say James Harden said he wanted to leave.
Yeah.
And when he said he wanted to leave, they said he was a cancer to the team and he was this and he was that. He already knew the BS that was going on, and James Harden said he was out and he was going to be in the clubs. He was going to bring COVID back. He was going to do whatever it took for him to get up out of there. But they dogged James Harden out, shall we say, until he got up out of there. But I mean, what do you say to Draymond's comment?
You want to go, James? You want me to go?
I'll touch on it real quick, and then I'll let you go. But it was really interesting to hear what Draymond said, and later that night to hear LeBron kind of restate almost the same. It kind of goes to where we started this whole conversation night, right? All these professional sports is all about it's all business. It's all about the dollars and cents, right? Draymond pretty much said, man, it's crazy to think that I, as an athlete, can go out there and play when I know that you were trying to get rid of me. I mean, I need to have some stake in the game. I need to have. Tammy says I'm breaking up. Is that am I having some audio?
I hear you good. You good.
Okay.
You good on this end.
I'm streaming at 4K. Hopefully I'm coming through all right. Maybe I need to down cycle a little bit and go back down to 1080 or something. Okay. Yeah, it's an interesting perspective from I think the athlete perspective versus the owners of the Okay, got that. You can hear that? Okay, I'm gonna kill that dog. I'm gonna kill that dog. I done lost my whole train of thought.
Let me go and interject then.
Because I'm gonna go kill that dog.
I mean, let's first of all, there's an employee and there's an employer. And Draymond is an employee, and even though his statements I think are correct, that the teams do hold them hostage and everything like that, you are still under contract and you're getting paid millions of dollars to entertain. Now, I think he needs to frame. I think he needs to be. I don't know about you letting out the team's laundry and all that stuff. Is that the right way? Should he be fined or anything like that? but I do believe he's walking a fine line in telling the business of what's going on. I do believe now the NBA has listened somewhat because they are being transparent and not allowing players to play when they're going to trade them, just like Blake Griffin and the dude that's in Cleveland, the center at Cleveland. They set them down and told you guys are sitting down until we can figure out a home for you or we buy out your contract. So they're not playing them and they're not doing them like they did Harrison Barnes years ago where he just got finished playing and as soon as they tap him on the shoulder and says you've been traded. They're not doing that anymore. They're finding ways to be able to do it. But I mean, I think if you're an employee and you're under contract and you want to be out of there, I think there's certain ways to handle it. And in James Harden's case, you can't be nice because if he played nice, he would still be in Houston right now where he didn't want to be. I don't know the right answer, tall boy. Like, how does he get out of that contract? But I know his antics and stuff like that were not fitting. I think of how he is, but like you said, he had to figure out a way to get out of there. He didn't want to be there no more. He didn't like what the front office was doing. He wanted to force their hand to make a trade, and they weren't doing it. So I don't have the answer, but I do know what Draymond is saying is that some of the things he's saying. So I think some things are left behind closed doors, man. You don't air out your locker room laundry. You don't tell the whole tales of what's going on with your team and how to get out of it. Not on the public platform. If he did that within the players' union and within the NBA guys, and he was speaking all that, that's something different. But to air it out on ESPN and all these outlets, I don't know if that's the right way. Not saying it's wrong. I just don't know if that's the right way. I'm not quite sure if that's the right way to approach it.
And I would say that, what I was going to say before the damn dog got in the way. I mean, those are the kind of things, right? I mean, yeah, that's how you feel, but think about what you feel before you say it, especially when you got all these cameras and microphones in front of you, right? I mean, yeah, those are those private team meetings that I think you need to have where you get the fellow players together. You don't say that when you're on Fox. You don't say that when you when you on ESPN and you got everyone that can construe it a certain way. Yeah, the whole professional sports is a business, and there are certain rules, right? There are just certain types of things that happen, right? And when the owner says, or when the GM says, you know what, it's time for you to be ready for a trade, or we gonna be looking to go in another direction. That happens in another office, right? You need to keep a lot of those statements, a lot of those conversations amongst the folks that really matter and the folks that really can make a change and make a difference. Saying it to us, the fans on the outside, I really don't think that it did as much value as opposed to, again, talking to your peers and your colleagues. Again, because all it does is bring up speculation for me in my mind, right? Again, I can't help Draymond, right? I can't help James Harden, but having those conversations around the folks that actually can interject change, that actually can make a difference, that's where those conversations, we don't need to know all your business. We just don't. And I really don't think that fans need to know everyone's business all the time. I'm talking about you holler, brother.
This is
You're
where I
talking about
disagree with you
okay.
because as a former athlete, yes, you signed the contract. Yes,
Mhm.
you signed it. You was happy that day when you got to think most of these athletes they come from lower income neighborhoods, didn't have the money, went to college for 1, 2, 3 years. Nowadays, lucky if you went 4 years, go to the NBA, go to the NFL, get that contract. It's a whole different level. No one talks about the players' contracts. I mean, no one talks about the owners, how much they make. They always talk about what the
Mhm.
players make. So at some point, when you get a little bit of money, you start to feel yourself. You on top. You start to feel good. You smell good. You look good. You're gonna do good. Draymond has already said that whatever his contract, maybe you can Google it real quick, James or Montel. He's already said he already got a certain amount of money set aside for his fines that he's gonna get because he gonna speak his mind. He don't
Mhm.
care how much money you pay me. I'm gonna tell you what it is. I respect that because at the end of the day, it's like even though you're saying the fans have nothing to do with the issues you have with your boss, at some point when a player is unhappy or you're telling a player to stay or remain professional, it's hard for that player to remain professional when you ain't doing right as a organization. And we all know that it's great to say you work for the Charlotte Hornets or the Atlanta Hawks or the Sacramento Kings, But the ones that are on the inside, those are boo-boo organizations compared to way or the New York Knicks as opposed to the way organizations are ran with LA, Golden State, or Miami, you know? So at the end of the day, I mean, I get it, but sometimes it's like, what do? You want me to be professional, but you don't want me to act like James Harden. You don't want me to say I'm sitting out and I'm not playing. What else am I supposed to do? Because remember, this is why LeBron started this and said, put the contract in my hands to where I can determine where I want to play. Whereas back in the 80s and the early 90s, what was it? The players, you were lucky to be with your team forever.
But
You were
I got a question on that. Oh, go ahead,
Go ahead.
finish your
No,
comments.
no, no, go
No,
ahead.
so my
Go
my
ahead.
my question is, so, but I mean, again, you are under contract. You are the employee, and regard if you're disgruntled or you're unhappy, I'm still cutting you a salary. So you should have an obligation to me because I'm cutting you a salary. I'm giving you money, and I'm not only giving you a little bit of money. I'm giving you millions and millions of dollars. With LeBron, he's always left at the end of his contracts. He's never forced himself to be traded. He's never tried to do that. And like you said, with Draymond, speak your mind. I get where you're coming from, but I believe you can't. You walk in a fine line by leaking all that information out to the public to try to gain. I don't know, to gain momentum or gain whatever, to gain sympathy. I'm not sure what Draymond's because he's not in the position. He's not getting traded. He doesn't want to get traded. He's speaking for another man.
Hmm.
That's another thing. Why are you speaking
Can
for
you
another
play
man?
that? Can you play that clip right there? I don't know if you can play it or not.
Yeah, let me know if you can hear it.
To watch Andre Drummond before the game sit on the sideline, then go to the back, and then come out in street clothes because a team is going to trade him is bull. Because when James Harden asked for a trade, and no one's going to fight back that James was dogging it his last days in Houston. But he was castrated for wanting to go to a different team, and everybody destroyed that man. And yet a team can come out and say, oh, we want to trade a guy, and then that guy is to go sit. And if he doesn't stay professional, then he's a cancer, and he's not good in someone's locker room, and he's the issue. Because as a player, you're the worst person in the world when you want a different situation. But a team can say they're trading you, and that man is to stay in shape. He is to stay professional, and if not, his career is on the line. At some point, this league has to protect the players from embarrassment like that. Anthony Davis got fined, I think, $100,000 or something like that for demanding a trade publicly. But you can say Andre Drummond is getting traded publicly, and we're looking to trade him publicly, and he's to stay professional and just deal with it. But then when Kyrie Irving say, oh, my mental health is off, everybody go crazy about that too. Do you not think that affects someone mentally? At some point, the players must be respected in these situations, and it's ridiculous, and I'm sick of seeing it. Y'all have a great night. I'll see y'all tomorrow or Wednesday.
The one part he ain't saying Andre Drummond is still getting paid sitting on the bench.
Still get paid.
He's still getting the check. That
Okay,
paycheck is
but
going
that's
every
not what
Tuesday, tall boy. It goes every Tuesday. It's getting deposited into his account, whether he's
but a
playing or
player
whether he's
doesn't.
sitting on the bench.
He's still
Whether
getting a game
they
check.
gonna pay him until he gets traded, or they buy him out.
Yeah.
That part is the difference that he didn't express. They are still collecting $1 million check.
But as a player, yes, you're getting paid, but you love this game, and so from a player's perspective, I get it. It's a business. Don't get me wrong. I do understand that. But when I put my blood, sweat, and tears, you're telling me I can't play a game because now his money is now affected if he does not keep up certain stats. He's trying to make an all-star team to where he can get his bonus.
Yeah,
He's trying to,
I see that
so
part. Yeah.
so now you're telling him he can't do certain things, and now he's losing out on potential money, but he has to stay professional. Whereas with James Harden or Kyrie, who says mental health or I don't want to be here no more, I have to. I'm castrated, and I'll speak, to a situation that I had overseas. I signed the contract. I did, but when they put in the newspaper how much all the players were making, and we found out we were the two lowest paid players, we were
Mhm.
upset because
Mm.
we was out there bussing these cats up. We was killing them, and it was like, hold up, I'm making this, you making that, and they making double, triple, and quadruple of what we're making.
Wow.
Oh no, 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 no. As a player,
Yeah.
we had something got to change, but not trying to be disrespectful or funny. We signed the contract. So
Mhm.
we have to be respectful to that. But as a player, it's like, hey, I'm over here doing numbers, and they not my other colleagues that are Americans are not doing this. That's a problem for me as an American. Now, if you say
Yeah.
I don't want to, I show up to the gym, and then you say, oh, you're not playing well, or you're not playing to our potential, we're going to cut you now, or we're going to trade you, or whatever the case may be. How do you think that makes that player feel? I understand it's a business, and yeah, you're getting your money, but that's not what the player came. Yeah, he came to get paid, but he came to
Hmm.
play first.
Yeah. I can see. I mean, the voice
You
your
just got to
frustration.
find a better
I
way.
would agree.
You
Yeah.
got to
There's just
find you
got to
got
be
to
a better
find a
way.
better
Yeah.
way to protect
Yeah.
it. You got to find a
Yeah.
way to protect the player as well, because like I said, it's easy for you to point the finger as the team saying you're not getting it, or you're not cutting it out for the team. It- You as the player, you're not making it happen for us. But let's look at the Sacramento Kings. Shaq made a comment the other day on
Mhm.
TNT, and it's like, dude, you're a part owner of that team. At what point does it become management's fault?
Huh. Yeah.
Because
Yep. I agree.
got you
Yep.
got 11 number one, 11 draft picks. You got draft players, and you haven't been able to turn that around in 11 years? Come on now. At what point do you point the finger at the team and say it's the organization? So when I say
I
the Atlanta Hawks, I say the
Wow.
Charlotte Hornets, and I say the Sacramento Kings are boo boo, from a business standpoint, all y'all see as the fan is it's the NBA, but it's a business, but you're not taking care of these players. Look at the New Orleans Hornets. Why did Anthony Davis want to leave? Anthony Davis wanted to leave is because he had an injury. He wasn't playing, or he wasn't where it needed to be. And the same medical staff that is of the New Orleans Pelicans is the same staff of the New Orleans Saints. So you got a football training staff over here taking care of me as on a basketball. Basketball and football are two different things. I got to get up out of here.
Yeah. I feel you on
Now,
that
now
one.
but see, this is the part that no one wants to talk about from the business standpoint. So you are a professional sports team, and you're telling me you're too cheap to go out and go get a professional. There's no qualified. There's none. No
Wow.
qualified medical staff. You better go get Queen Latifah from Just Right and come out here and be the medical staff or something. So, I mean, at
No.
what point did you say, from a player standpoint, you got to do a better job of protecting these players? That
But can that?
from a
But Tallboy, can that be done in the Couldn't that be done on the Players Association? Could they have
to,
those
to a
discussions with
certain,
with the players organization and
Mm.
be address those things with those teams instead of airing out
well,
the dirt?
I
I don't
don't
know.
think
I'm just asking. I'm
you
not
got to
asking.
remember.
I'm not sure.
You got to remember that the collective bargaining agreement isn't up until a couple of years. They're not going to have
Mm,
another
mhm,
strike anytime soon. So they're
mhm.
going to I'm pretty sure they're going to iron out whatever those differences are. But you can't tell an organization, how they're supposed to do things. Remember back in the day, the Clippers were flying coach, where everybody else was over there
Mm.
flying
Mhm.
first class and had their
Hmm.
own plane. So it's like, yeah, you got to get in a Southwest airline, or Spirit airline, and you flying with the regular folks as opposed to flying, private like the Lakers,
Mhm. Yeah.
or like, the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
No, so
Mhm.
I mean, these are things that they don't talk about. All you say is you're in the NBA, you're supposed to do it. So Tammy keeps saying, "Oh, well, look at your job. Your job is great, but look at the previous job that you had." not trying to be funny and air out the dirty laundry, but the previous job was pretty crappy, and it's like now that you see, okay, well, I'm no longer with what was it that you work for, James? You with Google. Now you're no longer with iPhone or Apple,
Right.
and now you over here working with Dell.
Right.
It's like I'm over here with Dell for a reason, like
Yep.
they
Yep.
taking good care of me,
Yeah,
so
they made an offer that my wife couldn't refuse. That's the story that
right,
they keep telling,
right, right. So I'm gonna take
Yeah.
my talents over here. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So as a player, all I'm saying is the players want to play. You're asking them to be professional, and it's like, at what point are you going to say, team, you
Mhm.
have to accept some form of responsibility in this as well?
God.
That's all
I
I'm
agree.
saying.
I agree. I agree with that 100%. I think both parties need to accept some responsibility on each side. And to
And,
your point with
and
your original question, Draymond was speaking the truth. He was telling the
Yeah.
truth. He wasn't lying. He's telling the 100% truth.
He's always in some type of hot
he's already got
water
it set up.
issue. Like I thought,
Yeah.
so I forgot that you were talking about that situation, but I was actually looking at the fact that he got ejected tonight, right? So I thought you wanted to talk about that, and Coach Kerr was like, "Hey, Draymond, you need to slow your roll, brother." So again, he's always been that very passionate player. Love the passion, but yeah,
He's
brother, some
falling into
things you
the
just need to
line of
watch out.
Rasheed Wallace and Dennis Rodman. He's falling
Mm-hmm.
into that
Wow,
line, and
he
he's
said Dennis Rodman. Yes,
and he's
yeah,
starting to get labeled. But the thing is, Draymond has already
Sean Kemp.
told you. No, not Sean Kemp. Sean Kemp wasn't getting technical and getting ejected. It was really more Rasheed Wallace and Dennis Rodman. And once you get that label,
Yeah,
but they always tell you, don't get that label on you. And once you get that label, it's kind of hard to turn that
yeah,
label around.
yeah.
But he's already got it. He's already said, whatever my salary is, 20% or 30% of my salary is going to go to technical files and paying these fines
Yep,
because I'm going to speak my mind.
he did say
And
that. Yep.
unfortunately, the Andre Drummond, the James Harden, and the Kyrie Irvings, they're not going to say anything. They don't care. They're
Mhm.
not going to lose their money,
Yeah.
and they make significant amount of money. But to Draymond, I'm going to tell you how I feel, and I don't care.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, if we didn't have the Draymonds of the world, we wouldn't have nothing to talk about here on Sunday night. So we appreciate that. Dog boy, we appreciate you too, brother. Coming through last minute,
man.
right? Having the chance to fellowship with you, break a little bread verbally, and have these conversations. You brought a different dimension to the conversation for sure. I'm gonna leave it to. I'm gonna put my tail on the spot. I'm gonna say, he invites you back, because um, I do like the back and forth that we have, right, and just having different perspectives, and I think it's even better for the listeners and the viewers, right, just to hear a whole bunch of different perspectives and let them chime in as well. So we appreciate the folks that commented as well, because again, the topics that we talked about, some of them weren't that easy, right? We really were trying to kind of push some buttons and have a more in-depth discussion. Again, not just about sports scores and the high level stuff, but what it really matters to society, and especially kind of focusing. Since it's February, let's focus on Black history and the African American contribution to sport. Brother Allen, I'm gonna let you shut it down, brother. You tell us what you got. You good for this week? You think we did our thing?
Yeah, man, we did our thing. I think Tallboy brought it, like you said, a different lens, to our views, what's going on, different perspective. Um, and I love it. I love it because the way he sees things is completely different than the way me and
Mhm.
you see things, and he's shedding some different light to make us open our eyes, which I always appreciate. That's the one thing for us to grow, is to have these interesting conversations and be able to share our views and kind of grow from it and see how another person sees it, so we can either counter it or agree with it.
Yep.
Well, I see it. So, man, I appreciate it, brother Tall Boy, man. You calling away from GA too, as late as it is.
God.
You out here, serving these fans is good. And like I said, man, I want you to keep fighting the good fight, man. And I love to have you back anytime, every day of the week. To have, definitely get, like I said, your perspective. Have your better half always chiming in. I like
Watch
that.
out now.
She's
Watch out
giving
now.
you a hard time. She's giving you a hard
Don't
time,
know
but I
nothing
mean,
about sports, but I always got something to say.
Tall boy,
but I
tell
appreciate it, man.
tell the folks where
Good.
you at, how they can keep in touch with you. I know you got some social channels, but go ahead and give them shouts out, brother.
Oh, everything I am Tall Boy. Just Google, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I am Tall Boy. I'm not really on Twitter, but it's Tall Boy DOTUS, tallboy.us. But just Google I am Tall Boy, all one word. You'll see me. You'll see the logo. Don't have it on the screen, but
We'll fix that
just look
next
for the
time.
logo, the little stick, yeah, the stick figure, and
Awesome.
you'll find me.
Awesome. Appreciate y'all. Everyone be good. Take care of yourself, and we will see you next week. We out.